Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we are going to be adding references to the labels. The program needs a way to track which label controls the player chooses. Right now, the program shows all the label chosen by the player. So this is the application at the moment. I've clicked on all the boxes and you can see all the icon images are showing. So we need a way to track which label controls the player has chosen. At the moment, you can see that all the labels chosen by me are displayed on the screen. What we're going to achieve in this lecture, we're going to write code so that the program will show the label icons that the player has chosen. So what should happen after it will show the first icon you choose, it will also show the second one briefly. If they don't match, both of them will disappear from the screen. So by using a reference, the program will track which of the label control was chosen first and which was chosen second using reference variables. So let's create a variable for that. So right at the top of your code, just after the public partial class, we're just going to create a variable there. So we're going to call, it's going to be a label, and I'm going to call it first. The variable name will be called first, F-I-R-S-T, first clicked. And I'm going to set it to equals to null. That would be the default. Null means nothing, it means empty. So when the label, if the player has not clicked the label, the value will be null. That means it will be nothing. So this will refer to the first label control the player clicks on. We'll do the same and set up a variable for the second control that the player clicks on. So I'll just copy and paste that and just change the value. I'll change that to second click. Second clicked. Okay, so the first one will store, we keep a record of the first label that's been clicked, and the second variable will keep a record of the second label that has been clicked. The default value for both labels will be null. Null means nothing has happened, no action yet. The labels have not been clicked. So this variable first clicked and second click will only keep track of the first and second label clicked. Notice that these two variables here, they only keep track of when the labels have been clicked. They don't create any new object. Before, in order to create a new object, you need to use the new word, like we did when we created the random variable here. We used a new to create a new instance. Notice we've not used that here because we are not creating any new object. We are only keeping track of what label has been clicked. That is, if the first, we're keeping track of the first and second labels that have been clicked. When the variable isn't actually keeping a track of an object, it is set to null, which is this value here. Null meaning it's empty. Nothing is happening, no action. So when the value is null, nothing is tracked because the label hasn't been clicked. What we're going to do, we are going to test one of the variable. We're going to test the first clicked variable and see how that will work in the code. We will do that. We have to modify the click event handler to use this first click variable, and we're going to implement that inside an if statement. So let's come down here where the click event is, which is this one here. So what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this one here, this piece of code. We can either get rid of it or comment it out. I'm just going to comment it out, and we're going to implement an if statement here that will incorporate the first clicked variable we've just defined. So I'm just going to implement the if statement now. So you say if, notice the IntelliSense is giving us lots of clues here what to do. So we just grab that, and inside the if statement we'll specify the name of the variable, which will be first clicked. So I'm going to say if this variable first clicked is null, the double equals to is used to check. It checks a condition. So it checks if this value is empty. Null meaning empty or meaning nothing. Whenever you're using an if statement, you need to put the code for the if statement in between curly braces. So I need to specify 2 curly braces and just separate them. So in between the curly braces is where I will specify the code for the if statement. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to say if this variable first clicked, if that variable is equals to the clicked label, if it's equals to this variable here, then I want this variable, the first click, I want this first click variable, and then I'll attach it. I'll attach a method, or no, I'll attach a property, which is this for_color property to it, and I'll set the value to equals to the color, the background, the color of black. And we'll have a return value as well, so that it returns something. So this code I've just added, what the code is saying is, if the first clicked is null, that is if it's empty, if it hasn't been clicked on, then this is the first icon in the pair that the player has clicked. So what happens, it sets the first clicked to the label that the player has clicked, and it changes its color to black and returns the icon. So we've got some yellow strip here, so I'll just save the code. So if I run the program now, what should happen when I click on the first label? It will turn the icon to black and show the icon. However, it will not let me reveal any other icon because this code here will no longer be null. It will check and see that, hang on here, this first label has been clicked. So that means it's no longer empty or it's no longer null. So the code will stop to run because that is no longer valid. So let's check that out. So click on start and wait for it to load. So if I click on the first icon, I should say something, but I would not be able to click on any other icon. It would not reveal it. The reason being is that this is no longer null because I've already clicked on it. So it keeps track. This variable here has stored a record that first label has been clicked, so it won't reveal any other label icons. So that is it for this lecture. In this lecture, we learned how to add reference variables to our label. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.